All right, time to dive into this deep dive, huh? We're tackling wholesale merchant interviews in electronics and telecommunications today, prepping you for total interview domination. Got the RoleCatcher career guide, interview guide, even their AI tools all lined up and ready to roll.
Smart move using those resources. It's a competitive field, but preparation is key.
Couldn't agree more. And speaking of preparation, let's be real, those interviews can be a bit daunting. That interview guide's a gold mine of potential questions, but some definitely feel trickier than others, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're meant to be challenging. But that's where you get to shine. Let's take question 2, for example. Tell me about a time you had to negotiate prices with a supplier. It's a classic for a reason.
Makes sense. In wholesale negotiations, everything, right, right, right.
Yeah.
How do you make your answer stand out, though?
Think of it like building a case, not just telling a story. The problem aggravate solution benefit structure is key. Explain the problem, make it seem even worse, then swoop in with your solution, highlighting the positive impact, lower costs, faster delivery, you name it. And here's the cool part. RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your answer and compare it to successful responses for similar roles.
Wait, so it's like having a personal interview coach in your back pocket. That's amazing.
Exactly. It helps you refine your language, add specifics, and make sure you're hitting the right notes for the role.
Okay, I'm sold on the AI. But let's get back to those interview questions. Question 10 caught my eye. Describe your experience working with international suppliers and customers. We touched on the global aspect, but this feels different.
It is. It's a question that often trips people up. Remember, the electronics and telecommunications industries are global by nature. Components might come from Asia, customers from Europe. You need to bridge that gap.
So it's not just about knowing the tech, it's about navigating cultures, time zones, maybe even language barriers.
Yeah, exactly. Think about situations where you adapted your communication, built rapport with someone from a different background, or navigated cultural differences in business. Ever had a misunderstanding you had to resolve? Or maybe adjusted your negotiation approach based on cultural norms. Those are the experiences that make your answer strong.
That's a really good point, and it ties directly into that cultural awareness and adaptability they mentioned in the Career Guide's key skills section.
Exactly. That's where preparation meets the reality of the job. Use the career guide as your roadmap to pinpoint the skills employers want, and then tailor your answers to show those skills in action.
So it's about connecting the dots between their expectations and your experiences. Makes perfect sense. But there's one question that always makes me nervous. Question 6. Tell me about a time you had to resolve a conflict with a customer. Ugh, conflict resolution. Why is that so crucial for a wholesale merchant?
Well, think about it. You're the bridge between suppliers and customers. Dealing with large orders, tight deadlines, complex logistics. Things are bound to go wrong sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. I can only imagine the potential for things to go wrong. A shipment's delayed, a product isn't right, suddenly you have a very unhappy customer.
You got it. It's all about managing that flow of goods, right? From suppliers to customers, making sure you've got the right amount at the right time, and minimizing any hiccups.
Sounds like a real balancing act, especially in the world of electronics and telecommunications. One day a certain chip's the hottest thing, the next it's outdated.
Exactly. That's why this question is so important. They want to see that you get the challenges. Forecasting demand, managing lead times, even dealing with those sudden shortages or supply chain disruptions.
So it's more than just knowing how to stock a warehouse. It's about predicting problems before they even happen.
Precisely. Think about any experience you have with inventory management systems, demand forecasting, supplier coordination, logistics optimization, that sort of thing. Ever have to get creative to solve a supply chain bottleneck?
Yeah.
Or maybe you implemented a new system that made things more efficient, even saved some money. Those are the stories that'll really resonate.
It's all about showing you can think on your feet and keep those products moving, no matter what's thrown your way.
Right. And don't forget, this is another area where RoleCatcher's AI can give you some really valuable feedback.
Oh, that's right. Almost forgot about our secret weapon. How can the AI help us shine here?
Well, it can actually analyze your response for these industry-specific keywords like just-in-time inventory, materials requirements planning, supply chain visibility, or vendor-managed inventory. These terms show a deeper understanding of the field.
So using those industry buzzwords can really make a difference, kind of like adding the perfect spice to a dish.
Exactly. It shows you're not just familiar with the basics, but you really speak their language.
I love it. Okay, hit me with the next challenge. What else does the interview guide have for us?
Let's talk about question 9. How do you approach identifying and assessing new suppliers and vendors? This one's all about showing your due diligence, making sure you can build a network of reliable partners.
Because in wholesale, your suppliers are your lifeline. They can make or break you.
Absolutely. You have to find those reliable suppliers who can deliver quality on time and at the right price. But it's not just about the cheapest option, it's about the best long-term partners.
So it's a bit like dating, but for business. You need a partner who gets you, who's in it for the long haul, won't disappear when things get rough.
That's a great way to put it. And just like any good relationship, communication is key. When you're answering this, think about how you establish expectations. Keep those lines of communication open. Build that trust with your suppliers.
I bet a good story or two wouldn't hurt either, right? Maybe a time you negotiated a tough contract or had to work through a disagreement with a supplier.
You're reading my mind. Specific examples always make your experience come alive, make your answers memorable. Have you ever gone above and beyond to ensure a supplier met a deadline? Or maybe you found a new supplier who brought something special to the table. Those are the things that will set you apart.
It's about showing them you're not just pushing papers, you're building relationships, solving problems, basically a master negotiator in this wild world of electronic components.
Exactly. And since we're on the topic of relationships, let's not forget question 5. How do you approach building those long-term relationships with both suppliers and customers? This one emphasizes how important it is to understand both sides.
That's a really important point. It's not just about managing suppliers. It's about cultivating those relationships with the people who are actually buying these electronics, these telecommunications parts.
Yeah.
It's about understanding their needs, building trust, and making sure they're happy. After all, a happy customer is much more likely to come back.
Exactly. And that's where active listening comes in, along with effective communication and building rapport. Think about your approach to customer service. Do you go above and beyond? Keep them in the loop about their orders, trying to build a real connection, something beyond just a transaction.
Turning those customers into fans, right? But how do we make sure we're getting all this across in the interview? Feels like another chance for RoleCatcher's AI to shine.
You're on the right track. The AI can actually analyze your answer for keywords related to relationship building, things like active listening, communication, empathy, problem solving, and customer satisfaction. It can even point out areas where you could strengthen your answer with specific examples or even quantifiable results.
So it's like having a virtual wingman, whispering helpful tips during the interview. Don't forget to mention that time you saved the day for that stressed out customer. Or remember to emphasize your ability to speak fluent tech and translate it for those less tech-savvy clients.
You've got it. Use every tool you have to present the best version of yourself.
Okay, this is great. We've covered so much ground, but I feel like there's even more to explore. We've covered a ton, but you're right, there's always more to uncover. Let's loop back to the career guide for a sec. It mentions intense competition and rapid technological advancements as big things in this field. Makes me think of question 3 from the interview guide. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends and advancements in the electronic and telecommunications industries?
That one's tricky. They're not just looking for someone who skims a tech blog now and then. They want someone who really lives and breathes this industry, always on the lookout for what's next.
So just mentioning a few industry magazines isn't enough. You have to show you're really part of the conversation.
Exactly. Talk about conferences you attend, online forums you're active in, thought leaders you follow. Maybe you've even taken online courses or gotten certifications to boost your knowledge. It's your chance to show you're all about lifelong learning.
It's about proving you're not going to get left behind as tech moves forward, right? You're right there in the thick of it, absorbing everything.
Precisely. Now, how about a question that often throws people off? Question 1. Describe your experience working with electronic and telecommunications equipment and parts. Seems simple, but there's more to it than it seems.
Yeah, because anyone can say they've used a smartphone or set up Wi-Fi.
Right.
This is about showing a real grasp of the technology.
Exactly. Think about the specific parts you've worked with, technical challenges you've tackled, systems you've integrated. Let that inner tech geek shine through.
So it's about connecting your technical know-how to what the role actually requires.
Right on. And this is another area where RoleCatcher's AI can be a game changer. Plug in the job description, and it'll highlight the keywords related to specific equipment, software, or skills they care about most.
It's like having a cheat sheet to make sure you're speaking their language.
Exactly. All right, let's tackle one more question that often comes up in interviews for those more leadership-focused roles. Question 4, describe your experience managing a sales team.
Even though it's called wholesale merchant, there's definitely a sales aspect to it. But what if you haven't actually led a sales team before?
No problem. Think about times when you mentored colleagues, took charge of projects, or influenced decisions. Leadership comes in many forms.
So it's about showing off those transferable leadership skills, even without the official manager title.
You got it. Highlight your ability to motivate people. Set clear goals, delegate tasks effectively, and create a positive and productive atmosphere.
This has been so helpful. We've broken down those interview questions, gotten great insights from the career guide, and even tapped into the power of RoleCatcher's AI. Anything else you want to leave our listener with as they get ready to rock this interview?
Just remember, preparation equals confidence. You've obviously got the drive and ambition to kill it in this field. Use these resources, practice those answers, and let your passion shine through. You've got this.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI is there to give you that extra edge, helping you polish those answers and put your best foot forward. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into wholesale merchandising. Good luck with your interview. You're going to be fantastic.